feeling good? You got crypto? You got stocks? And we are live talking about conspiracy theories. I can talk about conspiracy theories as long as I'm debunking them, I think, according to the rules. So today we're going to debunk all the conspiracy theories about Nancy Pelosi's husband getting attacked with a hammer by a guy who spread election disinformation. He was an election denier, a COVID truther. He thinks George Floyd died of fentanyl. I was going to put out a fake news release. Said he also said he was a big fan of Kanye West, just so he hit all the buttons, because I miss the old days of YouTube a little bit on a day like today, because by now there would already be at least 5 videos explaining why the attack on Nancy Pelosi's husband didn't actually happen, with titles like 100% confirmed hoax or something like that. Do you guys remember 2015? Are you old enough? Have you been around long enough on the internet? It was different, believe me. YouTube was different. It was like on a day like today, you'd just be waiting. I mean, you wouldn't be waiting. You'd be rushing to get together as much information as possible to show why, the official story isn't true. And then rushing it out on YouTube and getting thousands and thousands of impressions and views. Those were the days. But nowadays, you call something a false flag, they'll sue you. So nobody's saying that. People are really polite, I noticed, even when they have conspiracy theories. Like, people have conspiracy theories about this attack, but they don't want to come out and just say it. They don't want to just come out and say, oh, but they'll imply it, kind of. Like even this news guy from OAN, he's implying that something's up. So I'll show you this stuff. It's a pretty funny story. How are you guys doing? I start the show early on Fridays, and that's so I can go to dinner with my wife, because I have to leave the house earlier to go to the city, the big city. So the show is a little early on Fridays, maybe usually at 4:30 p.m. my time, which is fine because it still gives you time to start drinking, hopefully, and do whatever else you do. So welcome to the show. It's Friday. It's October 28th, 2022. The election is about 2 weeks away. Elon Musk just took over Twitter. What has changed? Is the world changing because Elon Musk took over Twitter? Was the attack on Paul Pelosi timed perfectly, among other things? All right. We're going to answer all those questions today on this show, on Lift the Veil, here on YouTube. And I also have a Twitter profile. You can follow me on Twitter at lifttheveil411. You find me as Lift the Veil because I stopped using my real name on there. But I might change it back. We'll see. I was trying to get employed before, so I was like, let's not do this Twitter thing. I'll tell you how Twitter has changed. I'll tell you what people are saying on Twitter today that they maybe weren't saying yesterday. All the bigwigs got fired. Parag and VJ. They got fired last night. And then other people faked getting fired today. I can show you all that news. Thanks for tuning in. We can say the real show is starting. And let me get my volume ready. and then we'll go over the news. You guys feeling good? You feel like the world's changing? It might be. Okay, cue musical intro. Boy, that's brilliant. I do think some things in the world are real. Like you guys. You guys are real. Most of you. Most of my listeners, I think, are not just in my head. I think I have the metrics to prove it. You've taken a leap of faith today. What is that sound? And I apologize if you take offense. I'm a little offended myself. Welcome to our show. Welcome to the future. What it is, joining you live from sunny California. It's a beautiful day today. I'm your host, Nathan Stoltman. I bring you the news, the real news. Yeah, and just news about conspiracy theories. Like, this is conspiracy theory news. I love conspiracy theories. I do, even if I don't believe all of them. Well, and I'm not saying they're all great. Some of them can be mean to groups of people. It's true, but I'm still interested in them, all of them. So when I heard Nancy Pelosi's husband got attacked with a hammer by a guy that happens to spread election stuff, COVID stuff, apparently he's transphobic. I'll show you all the news. I start to think, weird. And Elon Musk just took over Twitter. This is an independent broadcast. You can support the show. You can give super chats on the show, and I will read them if you give them. But it's better to go to buymeacoffee.com/lifttheveil because they support me and won't cancel me as far as I know. And YouTube eventually will. I shouldn't think negative thoughts. YouTube has canceled me before. Now I've changed and now I'm better. And so I'm the reformed version of me for YouTube, that I debunk conspiracy theories now rather than promote them. Go to buymeacoffee.com/lifttheveil and you can buy a coffee and you can leave a note and I will read it on the show. And sometimes if I get sufficient coffees, I'm encouraged to do more content too, but no promises. All right. So this is the news. Like, Paul Pelosi got attacked. Apparently it was around 2 a.m. And the guy is like a nudist from Berkeley. There's a lot of information about him. I'll show you the news stories. Let's see what people are saying first. They think she had a lot of security, Nancy Pelosi, where she is there in San Francisco. So initially, people are skeptical about the security situation because they were thinking that nobody would be able to get through to somebody who's third in line to the White House. So let me show you some of that. I'll show you what some people are saying, like what some people are saying on Twitter. Like Sticks, Hexenhammer 666 says, I'm supposed to believe the Speaker of the House lacks proper security in her home to prevent a break-in, a convenient 2 weeks before the midterms. I ain't saying this flag is false, but it sure smells fishier than Bill Clinton's member after a quick trip to Epstein Island, he says. So he's not saying the flag is false, but he is saying it is awfully strange, right? So that's what I'm saying. I'm not saying, I'm saying I'm debunking conspiracy theories about it and saying it really happened. But if I was a conspiracy theorist, I would be interested in some of these weird things. Like, how'd he get in? What was Paul Pelosi doing at 2 in the morning? When he's on probation, I think, for drinking and driving. Here's a story about security at the Pelosi home. Let me show you this. From Harmeet K. Dillon. Says, my firm served a lawsuit against Paul Pelosi one time in San Francisco after attempting to serve other residences. They weren't home, but staff were, and multiple law enforcement officers were on the perimeter. Break-in is odd given this level of security. Harmeet goes on to say, we have been to many social events in the immediate vicinity as well. There are security cameras everywhere, and many homes have private security. Whatever happened, law enforcement should have plenty of evidence to get to the bottom of it and find the attackers. Now, they've found the attacker. The patsy is, some people are saying, no, nobody said that yet. Sorry, I didn't just say that. They found the guy. No, I'm just saying, I think it really happened. But it is weird. It is weird. They have a lot of security. Some people, and here's another conspiracy theorist who says, let's see what this conspiracy theorist says. Kyle Becker says, so if I've got the narrative right, 82-year-old Paul Pelosi was in a struggle with a 46-year-old man over a hammer, and the San Fran police showed up in the nick of time. Has there ever been a case where the police show up and stop a physical assault after a break-in mid-progress? And this dangerous assailant, a Berkeley nudist in his underwear, mind you, just walked by security and got all the way to his room, but security doesn't stop it, not the Secret Service, but the San Francisco police. And Paul Pelosi is expected to make a full recovery? Question mark. And then what is this face called? That face. He'd put that emoji up. The thinking emoji, the scratching your chin emoji. And the suspect happens to have an anti-government manifesto with him just 2 weeks ahead of a national election. Come on. No, seriously. Come on, this person says. Very, very skeptical. Shocking to see people so skeptical of the mainstream narrative. So that's what that person is saying. And then then somebody else is saying something. It says, you really expect me to believe that the woman who ordered a barbed wire perimeter fence built around the Capitol building and has thousands of National Guards twiddling their thumbs for months didn't have weapons grade world-class home security and surveillance at their mansion? So very interesting. Very skeptical people are. So check this out. What made me skeptical, or I'm not skeptical of what happened. I believe the mainstream news. Obviously, it really happened. But the guy just so happened to be a conspiracy theorist. And I know that so I do believe it. I do believe it happened. I'm not just saying that. So far, although I don't know, if I didn't, then I definitely couldn't say that. But I'm saying it seems like it happened. But they are going to use it to push an agenda. That's all. I am saying that, yes, I believe it so far, which might be wrong to do, but I believe it. And that's socially acceptable to do. And I also believe it will be used to push a narrative And it's awfully convenient in many ways, even though it's sad and tragic. So even though it's sad and tragic and we abhor violence here and we don't like violence, we don't want people to be violent to other people. That's wrong. And this guy should receive like whatever our justice system determines is correct for what he did. But it will be used to push a narrative. And that narrative is that conspiracy theories are dangerous and will lead to violence. So, and if I could prove that to you, I would. I'll show you how they're going with it. Alleged Paul Pelosi attacker posted multiple conspiracy theories. It says, and they say, here's the things he posted. So his stepfather said, I really don't know what to think. Or I'm sorry, the suspect uncle, Mark DePape, said, hopefully it's a scam. I don't want to hear something like that. Hopefully it's a scam. I don't want to hear something like that. Other people said that they knew the guy was weird and he said things that made them think that he was crazy. But here's what they say he posted. Last year, David DePape posted links on his Facebook page to multiple videos produced by MyPillow CEO Mike Lindell, falsely alleging that the 2020 election was stolen. Other posts included transphobic images and linked to websites claiming COVID vaccines were deadly. Quote, the death rates being promoted are whatever they want to be promoted as the death rate, unquote. One post read. DePape also posted links to YouTube videos with titles like Democrat Farce Commission to Investigate January 6th Capitol Riot Collapses in Congress and Global Elites Plan to Take Control of Your Money Revealed. So it sounds like he's and not only, oh my God, it's like every single one, every different conspiracy theory that they want to censor. Election, trans stuff, then COVID, saying the COVID vaccines are deadly. Then in addition to that, he says that global elites plan to take control of your money. So he's talking about central bank digital currencies, which is one that at least that they don't censor too much. But why is it? Why is it these guys are always into stuff? And then he also happened to say that that George Floyd died of fentanyl. So I was going to say they're also reporting he's a fan of Kanye West. I already say that. Yeah, because it would just be another thing, right? Oh, he also posted content about the Great Reset, which they describe on CNN as the sprawling conspiracy theory that global elites are using coronavirus to usher in a new world order in which they gain more power and oppress the masses. Who's ever heard of that conspiracy theory? You know, it's weird when they say a conspiracy theory and they say, oh, it's this crazy conspiracy theory that XYZ. And you're like, oh, that doesn't sound that crazy. You're saying that he had a crazy conspiracy theory that elites are trying to gain power over us by oppressing us? Does that sound crazy? Does that sound crazy? Okay, yes, that is a crazy conspiracy theory. The Great Reset. The Great Reset, you mean the one that they talk about, right? Where they say that there's going to be a Great Reset and that coronavirus. No. That's crazy. I get it. No, anyway, they're going to say now, so those are the things. And I'll tell you what's weird about it is he also said Jesus is the Antichrist, which most people disagree with. Although some people might be sympathetic to that. But he also said Jesus is the Antichrist. But some of the other things I'm saying, some people would be sympathetic to those views. Like some people would say, oh, he posted Mike Lindell videos and he said COVID vaccines are killing people. And he probably posted memes of Rachel Levine, and he said Derek Chauvin died from fentanyl. He sounds kind of like a mainstream right-wing influencer, basically. Those are all things that mainstream right-wing influencers push. So that's why I'm saying it is awfully convenient. It is awfully convenient that this guy happened to hit every single conspiracy theory, all of them, including the Great Reset. But they say 2 former acquaintances said he exhibited concerning behavior over the years. He lived in a storage unit. He'd been struggling with hard drugs. He was out of touch with reality, people said, and he seemed dangerous. So he's probably a crazy person. Here, check this out. Just to show you, I think that all I'm saying is Twitter just got released from jail, right? They just freed the bird. Elon Musk just freed the bird. So people on Twitter, I noticed the first thing they started posting about was that Donald Trump won the election in 2020 because you weren't allowed to say that. They're posting that COVID vaccines are killing people. Even though I'm saying that's what people are posting. The CDC says the vaccines are safe and effective. They prevent you from getting COVID. If you take the vaccine, you're going to be just fine. And if you don't, you might die. But I'm saying conspiracy theorists on Twitter, since Elon took over, are saying things like Rachel Levine is a man, like people are spreading those memes. So all the things is what I'm saying. All the things that this guy was into is exactly what people are about to start saying on Twitter. And then what are they going to say? They're going to say these dangerous conspiracy theories need to be censored because otherwise you're going to take a hammer and go after a politician. They'll say, see, that's what they'll say. They'll say, see, we told you. This is why we censor conspiracy theories, because look what these people who believe these conspiracy theories do. They attack politicians with a hammer. And so they'll blame the conspiracy theories. I'll show you how they do that. Here's from Forbes. Paul Pelosi's alleged attacker's Facebook page filled with 2020 election conspiracies, reports say. And then it says here, this is the, he allegedly posted on Facebook about conspiracies related to the 2020 election and COVID-19 pandemic. According to reports, the latest example of a disturbing link between extremism fostered on social media and political violence. So there you go. It is a disturbing link between conspiracy theories and violence. So that is where they're going to go with that. And I think they could use it they will just use it as a way to say that Twitter needs to be more censored and that you can't allow these type of conspiracy theories. We'll see where it all goes, but I'm just saying I can see it. I see where they want to go with it. So yeah, apparently the guy tied up what was going to tie up Paul Pelosi. He was saying, where is Nancy? Where is Nancy? He said. And then the police showed up and then he attacked Paul Pelosi with a hammer. And Paul Pelosi is going to make a full recovery. And he didn't really have brain surgery. They just said that at first. So at first they were saying he had brain surgery, but apparently he had some kind of surgery to repair something, and he's going to be fine. So he's going to be fine 2 weeks before the election. How'd the guy get through security? What's the deal? That's what people are saying. So I'm just reporting to you what some people are saying now. And you can, well, no, you can't decide. You have to think. You have to think that everything is as the mainstream media reports it. That's important. You must think that. And if you think differently, you don't want to express that. In fact, we're going to make it against the rules. So just stay in the lane. So Twitter, are you going to stay in the lane? Twitter is now in Elon Musk's hands. Apparently, he fired the Indian people, or Indian from India, VJ, and what was his name? Parag. He made like millions of dollars. They get fired, but then they get a bunch of money for it. So it's, but he fired them and some other people. Let me see if I have a report on it. Fired its top executives, including Ned Siegel and Sean Edgett too. So it wasn't just Indian Americans that he fired. He also fired a Jewish person and a white person, just so you know. So he has been even-handed in his firings. But he fired those people, and then people staged a hoax today that they were fired Twitter employees walking out with their boxes. So there was a hoax that happened. I'll show you evidence of it. There's a guy that got in the news. So there were people walking around with boxes outside of Twitter headquarters, and the media was talking to them as if they were fired. I'll show you a clip. Oh, let me show you this clip about here's like an overheard conversation. This is about the shooting. Here's an overheard conversation about the suspect in the Pelosi. Did I say shooting? Hammer attack. About the hammer attack, I'll show you. Here's a hot mic moment.
Okay, so is this the dude that was a former nudist dude? Okay. Yeah. Okay. Is it okay to say any of that stuff? No. Yeah. All right. Cool. All right. So, but we kind of have a working knowledge of who this guy may be. Hang on one second. Let me go see what they've got over here. I'll call you back.
All right. Bye. So there you go. Anyway, he goes, "Oh, so he was a nudist and stuff. Can we say that?" No. Sounds like it. So that's them maybe covering up the fact that the guy's like a nudist. What was I going to show you? Oh, I was going to show you video from outside Twitter headquarters, but I don't know if I have it anymore. I had it, but I don't know if I have it anymore. There was a guy that got busted on the news. I'll try to find it. I swear I had all my tabs pulled up. He said he had a box. I don't have it. Don't know how. He said he was going home to his husband and his wife. So anyway, sorry I don't have that clip for you. But what are people saying on Twitter? People on Twitter are saying things like, they're saying some different things. I've heard some reports of people using the N-word more often. I've heard reports of some people still getting censored, but I've seen a lot of tweets about Rachel Levine, for example, that seem to be still up. I saw somebody say they were going DEFCON 5 on Jewish people, and that tweet was still up. So that's the status of it. It seems like there is maybe some less censorship. Like this tweet, for example. So it seems like Twitter has maybe relaxed some of their standards. Nobody's back yet. I'm going to show you that. Trump is saying he's going to come back on Monday. Trump, well, if it's a real statement from Trump, I read a statement that said Trump is coming back Monday. Here's an example of things people are tweeting now that they weren't tweeting before Elon took over. So, like, this is an example. The person says, this is a picture of a man, right? And it's Rachel Levine, who obviously is not a man, who obviously is a woman. It's wrong. I'm just saying this is what some people are saying on Twitter now. It's wrong for them to say that. But that's what people are saying, the kind of thing people are saying. And then, like, another example is like from Zach Voorhees. He tweeted something controversial. I'll show you controversial tweets, which are wrong. Zach Voorhees tweeted out, J6 was a false flag to help steal the 2020 election, which, you know, might have been censored before. So that's still up on Twitter. So that's the kind of thing that people are saying, which is what led me to believe that this attack was just strange. It's just timed. It's just interesting timing, considering like exactly what conspiracy theories he was into is exactly what people want to say now that they feel like they're free to speak on Twitter. In regards to the censorship, Elon Musk made a statement about how the censorship is going to go down. Apparently, there's some report that organizations have threatened to pull out of Twitter advertising if Donald Trump is allowed back on. I've seen that report where they say some advertisers are threatening that they won't be on Twitter anymore if Donald Trump is allowed back on. So I don't know if those reports are true or not, but that is what's being reported. I think even the Wall Street Journal is reporting that advertisers are nervous. Advertisers are nervous, and that's why you saw Elon Musk put out that statement saying that it wasn't going to be a free-for-all hellscape, is what the words he used, that it won't be a free-for-all hellscape, and there will be content moderation. And there will be content moderation on Twitter. Just a question of how much and who decides. So Elon Musk is putting together a council, a content moderation council. He tweeted this out. He says, Twitter will be forming a content moderation council with wildly diverse viewpoints. No major content decisions or account reinstatements will happen before that council convenes. So there are a number of accounts that are set to be, that should be reinstated. The question is, well, what's this council going to be? And is a council the best idea? Like, I don't even know if I agree with the idea of having diverse viewpoints on a council to decide what kind of censorship they're going to do. It would be better to have one person who has good judgment to rule on it. And then rather than having people with bad judgment, like, you know what I mean? Like when you put together a council and you say they have to have diverse viewpoints, then that means you have to have some people that are wrong on there and some people that are correct. I'd rather only have people that are correct is all. So more fascist or more authoritarian is what I'm thinking would be better if you had somebody with good judgment, like me. Like I could be the counsel and I could do it perfectly. But I don't necessarily trust a group of people to decide, because some people are going to say, oh, Trump shouldn't be allowed back on. And then some people are going to say he definitely should be allowed back on. But how do they decide? What are they going to vote? Or if people say he should be allowed back on, do they get it? Becomes very complicated. This whole Twitter takeover is going to be complicated. It's not going to be that easy to manage this company. I wonder if it's going to take him away from building Teslas. It's going to take a lot of effort to figure out how to do Twitter correctly now that he's taken over, because there has to be some censorship. Just to exist on the App Store or the Google Play Store, you have to censor. So it's required. Some censorship is required. Then the question is, how much? Who gets back on? So, and then, there are a lot of doctors. I would say the doctors should be the first ones allowed back on. But it's definitely a big deal that Elon Musk took over this major platform where important things really do genuinely happen. Important things really do happen on Twitter, and it definitely helps form opinions for people. So that's what's going on. He says they're going to do a moderation council. So we'll see how it works. And no decisions will be made before then. So who's going to be on the council? Who's going to run Twitter? Is he going to pick a new CEO? Who's going to replace those people he fired? Does he have people in mind already? It's hard to hire people. And when is he going to start firing everybody else? These are all questions that will be answered in the coming days. So, in the meantime, I would say don't post the N-word. If I've learned anything, don't risk it. Just be polite and thoughtful, while sometimes also being controversial if you feel like it. So that's what's going on Twitter. What else do I have for you? I think that's what I have for you today. The ADL is made a statement about Twitter saying they really hope Elon Musk sticks to his censorship. I have an update on the PayPal misinformation. The PayPal $2,500 thing. The PayPal $2,500 thing is not a reinstatement of the misinformation policy. It's a policy they already had against other things, which includes other forms of intolerance that are discriminatory. So if you are intolerant and discriminatory, they can fine you $2,500, which they already could as of last year. So they didn't actually reinstate the misinformation part. They just already were fining people $2,500 if they felt like it. And it could be for doing things that they considered to be hate speech. And they already were banning people and stuff. I haven't heard of anybody getting the fine, the $2,500. Okay, and then in other news, the economy is the economy is crashing, housing is crashing. I give you guys news on that all the time. But pending home sales, show you that. Pending home sales fell 10%, which is way more than expected and almost a record. So we're going quickly into something like a depression, possibly. So hopefully you're prepared for it. There will be money printing at the end of the rainbow here. But in the meantime, yes, housing prices are going to come down. And then stocks lately have been getting screwed too. But I wanted to give you guys an update on the housing market. All right, I think that's what I have for today. I'll check my buy me a coffees. Hopefully some people chipped in for the weekend. I'll see what people are saying in the chat. Let me see. Let me check my buy me a coffees. Oh, I got some after the show was over last night. Last night we had some interesting stuff on the show, including somebody who it was interesting. You guys should check it out. Thanks, Fire Up the Blades, who says refer to yourself as a conspiracy analyst when discussing conspiracy theories. It might give you more breathing room so you don't get booted. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I only debunk conspiracy theories now, but I'm still an enthusiast. I'm a conspiracy theory enthusiast. Thanks, Apathy Boy, who says, thanks for the show. Best show on the net. Kept me sane during the pandemic. Thank you. Appreciate it. Spaldo, 10 coffees. Still waiting to fat shame. Oh, man. You got me 10 coffees and you want a fat shame? I'll have to find my... I don't have my phone. So I can't find a picture right now. In fact, I don't know where my phone is. I'll find a picture, Spaldo. Since you got me 10 coffees, I appreciate that. I'll find a picture that I'll show you guys so you can fat shame. I was fat in the past, and you can see it because my face was fatter. You can even see it in the intro for the show that I was a little heavier, but you want the big picture? Okay, I got it. Thanks, Tabitha. Thanks, Spaldo. And thanks, Tabitha. I appreciate it. Who says, have a good weekend? I appreciate it, Tabitha. That's cool. Thanks. Thanks for the coffees, everybody. Thanks for the support during the week. And we will see you guys at the next show. So the shows happen Monday through Thursday at 5 p.m. Pacific time, 8 p.m. Eastern time, and then Fridays at 4:30. And maybe I'll have a new camera soon that might work better. So we'll see. All right. Thanks, everybody. I appreciate your support. Oh, let me check out Rockfin too. Thanks on Rockfin. Thank you, RC Striker. Appreciate it. Thanks, Vogan Filter. Appreciate it. Thanks, Michelle Obama is a man, who said off subject, but I saw a clip of an unofficial with a UN official whose expertise or role is food supply. And he says food is going to be a problem next year. Meanwhile, Trudeau and some European nations trying to reduce farm production. Interesting. Yep, food is going to be a problem. And they are trying to reduce farm production. So what do you think? That means they want us to starve, right? That's so that they can get us to eat bugs. And then they can get us on central bank digital currencies. Yeah, you're figuring it out. So yes, they want us to starve. And they like it when things get more expensive too. The interdimensional vampires that control the world, that is, when I say they. All right. Thanks, everybody. Good seeing you. Appreciate everybody. And we'll see you at the next one. Okay. For now, that is what it is.